What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Let's Build the U.S.S. Voyager Season 1, Episode 50. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. And Happy New Year. I'm really excited to be hopping back into doing YouTube videos for this year. I took a brief break due to the holidays, so just wanted to take a moment and wish everybody happy holidays, happy New Year's. I hope everybody had wonderful time with their friends and family. But anyway, we've got about a 20-minute episode for Voyager. Let's go ahead and just jump right into this thing. I gotta admit, Voyager, she's looking pretty clean. She's looking pretty good. This is the really fun part where we're at right now. Making the ship come to life. And what I always mean by this is adding in those details. So now, in today's episode, we're going to be focusing on adding in some of those circuit boards that's on the saucer section for Voyager, as well as adding in some of the windows. And basically what I'm doing here, I'm just making sure that my starting point on my left and right side match. Going with that cut line right here. Right here. You want to make sure that matches. Very important. Because that just goes right back to, if you do one thing on one side, got to do it on the other side too. It's kind of crazy. I've been watching my channel grow. Even over the holiday season, I wasn't even putting out any videos. We're up to 875. Unbelievable. I can't believe that the channel has grown so much. And just want to take the time to thank everybody that actually stops to watch these videos. You guys are awesome. And you're why I keep putting these videos out. On top of, well, there's two reasons why I do these videos. I truly enjoy them, and on top of that, I know that there are a lot of people out there that do enjoy them as well. So it's, I think it's mutually beneficial for everybody. I get a kick out of doing these ships. I'm having a ton of fun with it. And we're just going to keep going on this until she's done. Now, those of you that might have missed it, I've talked about this before in the tutorial process for Voyager, that we're going to be splitting it up into 2 seasons, which right now we're technically on season 1, even though we took a brief break. But we're going to finish up the exterior of Voyager for the most part. We're going to start some of the interior. We'll do the bridge, we'll do the shuttle bay, and the main corridors and turbo lifts, but that's it for season 1. We'll come back in season 2, and then we'll make all those other changes that we need to make. But no, you know, we're just taking our time with this, doing this just one step at a time. You know, I have people ask me all the time, like, how do you do this? And I really try to convey this in my videos, that it's all about breaking it down step by step. You know, this is why I start with my saucer, I work my way back, I base everything off the proportions of the saucer, and I go and I use the reference photos to get my proportions correct, to get the details correct. And then once we have our shapes in there, then we come in and we start detailing, which is exactly where we're at right now. Detailing is, believe it or not, a very critical phase of the build, because sometimes less is more, you know. And I have people, they'll ask me all the time, they're like, how big is your ship? That thing looks massive. And I sent somebody the dimensions of my Enterprise D from top to bottom, because they were trying to build it on one of their worlds. And they couldn't believe it, because they were like, wow, they're like, that's actually a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. It looks a lot bigger in the videos. And that goes all the way back to how I design these ships. I do it off perspective. So we're making the ships about maybe half the scale of what they're supposed to be, but through our detailing, we can make them look just as big. is really what I'm trying to get at here. And I mean, look, some people might be like, hey, I don't like the fact that you're doing a half scale. And it's like, look, man, I do these by myself in my spare time, you know? If I went full scale on this, you're talking, if you think Enterprise D was long, that was 187 episodes. We didn't even finish it. And that was a half scale. So just do the math on that one. It would probably be twice that. So anyway, we've got a little bit of detailing done on the outside of the ship. We're going to be making our way into the saucer section. And we're going to be adding in our template for our second deck. We've already got the groundwork in place. We're literally just doing a wireframe X access point directly above our current corridor, because the X access point that we're literally adding in right now is going to be our walkway. Believe it or not, little things like this help, because having that template down for the walkway, now you know where you're going to be standing, you know, and you need to know how much height you're going to have. So it's important to map out these things first. Like I'll have some people that will flex on me sometimes. They're like, oh, well, you should be starting with the bridge, or you should be starting with this room. Like it's the most vital part on a starship. And it's like, I'm not role-playing on this thing, you know. If that's how you prefer to build, I say more power to you. Go ahead and do it. But me personally, just how I approach these builds, I try to look at it from an engineering standpoint. You really have to have your foundations in place before you can start working on those other things. Or your skeletal structure, as an example, which is pretty much where we're still at right now. We've got our base of the outside of the ship done, but corridors is really going to be the bones of the ship, because we're going to be able to use our corridors to work in our favor. I don't get a chance to talk about this too much, but you know, having your corridors in place first is going to help you divide out your ship into sections. So you can see what I'm doing right now. I'm deleting blocks on that row that we're at, because I'm wanting to see where it comes out on what level, because I'm going to be going maybe towards the front here. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to add this next set of windows. But we've got our starting point, so we could see right where we're going to be in this area here that we could put a window in. So I'm following the same rule that I've gone off my other windows, going with my cut line. We're going to build it in the same manner that we did our other windows. One of the reasons I'm doing this is consistency. I talk about this a little bit, but probably not enough, probably not as much as I should. I really only get into this when we're doing the interior portion of the ship, but being consistent just through and through, these little details over a course of period is going to help your ship just come together. And it's just breaking it down step by step by step. One of these windows by itself isn't going to make a world of difference. When you start adding in all these little details bit by bit, eventually you're going to end up with how Voyager looked in the tour episode. And it's just that attention to detail, not being lazy, and being consistent. So really want to make a point what I'm doing here, that I'm making sure that my windows are matching up with the other windows that I designed. They could be longer. That's not what I'm saying. You can have your windows as long or as short as you want. But really, the side brackets here and building it off the cut line, these are important. Because it just goes right back into, if you're doing one thing on one side, do it on the other. Do it consistently throughout your build. This way those design cues carry over, whether that's on the outside of the ship or on the inside. So if we're designing these big bay windows in this way, we need to make a point to do all the other bay windows in the same manner, where we have the brackets going along here and it's not impeding on our cut line. That's another important thing. So I was able to add that extra one in there. And I mean, just that subtle little detail. And this is what I mean by perspective. And I'm sorry, I'm going to try not to pause the video again after this, but I really want to make a point to pause it right here so you can see what I mean. Right now on our saucer, we've got, what, 3 decks? You count our primary deck, that'll bring us back to the shuttle bay. We've started working on a second deck, and then we've got the area where the bridge will go. So technically 3 decks. But if you look at that from the side right now, it looks like there's way more than 3. And this is why I say be aware of how you're building and how big you're building. This is why I'm going small on these windows, because what's happening here is that these windows are helping with the scale of the ship. These windows are supposed to be really big on Voyager. With them being smaller and looking at it like this, it makes the ship look larger. So I don't know, these are just some things to think about. These are things that I actually have only recently done within the past few years. I didn't always used to think like this, and believe it or not, it's been playing Planet Coaster that I actually started to think like this, because I was doing research on theme parks and I was trying to figure out how I could design my own theme park a little bit better, and also dealing with the issue of render, because my parks would be getting so massive because I'm trying to add in all these things that are in a theme park, and the render is my computer is basically having a stroke. And then it dawned on me after I started watching some documentaries on Disney and learned how Walt Disney built the theme parks in perspective. In other words, they get smaller as you go up. They're not as big as they look. Some of the areas in Disney, even maybe more so Universal, they're facades where you only see the building from the front, and then the back of it you can easily tell it looks like a set, or from the top. These are a lot of things that can help us, you know, because at the end of the day, we don't have to have a fully fleshed out ship 100% filled in all the way. Originally, when I first started building on Minecraft, I did try to set out to do stuff like that. But at this point, don't get me wrong, like, I will go to do as much content as I can per build, but what I'm trying to get at is that I build it as long as I'm having fun with it. And once I get to that point where it's like, yeah, you know, I've kind of added in everything I want to add in on Voyager. And I also gauge based off the comments too, my YouTube channel. So it's a combination of those two things that kind of tells me, like, okay, maybe do I need to do a little bit more? And it's like, yeah, well, you know, I've got enough done here. I think I've done everything I have to say about this, and we can just move on to the next one. That's just kind of how I approach this. But no, there is going to be a lot that we have to do with the interior for Voyager, because there's some cool rooms that we can do. The astrometrics room will be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm more excited to do the astrometrics on the Enterprise D than on Voyager, even though, believe it or not, that's where astrometrics came from. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it appeared on Voyager first. I might be wrong on that. I need somebody to fact check that, because now I have two different memories in my mind. I remember seeing it on Voyager, but then I remember seeing it in Star Trek Generations. And I could be wrong, but I think Star Trek Generations might have beaten Voyager out and been the first one to show that room. If you know the answer to that, let me know in the comments section. But kind of got sidetracked there for a second, but my point is that the astrometrics on the Enterprise D just looked freaking cool. But no, there'll be some really cool areas that we're going to be able to do on Voyager. I'm looking forward into fleshing out more of the interior on this ship, because there's just, you know, there's going to be a few cool little details that we'll be able to do. One of the things that we're not going to have time to do, at least in season 1, we're going to have to add in an extra window set on the saucer section towards the front. because there's a pair of windows towards the front of the ship. They're going at an angle, and I tried for the life of me to get it right, and no matter how many times I built it out, it just wasn't coming out the way I wanted it. And it's like, you know what, I'm just going to take a break from this. I'll come back to it at a later time, because otherwise I'm going to pick this ship up and throw it across the room. Just kidding. No, I wouldn't really do that, but no, it's something I've been thinking about. I need those windows in the front just to get that extra bit of detail in there, but I still haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do there. But man, I tell you, those big bay windows on the sides, I mean, this is what I'm telling you, like, attention to detail. These are the things that are going to make your ship just pop, you know? I see stuff like, just in general, like, just with any builds, because I'm not going to lie, like, I really don't pay attention to, like, what people are doing on Minecraft anymore. I just kind of, like, do my own thing. Like, any videos I watch on YouTube, I just watch, like, building videos in general, just, like, to get maybe inspired every once in a while, but that's not something that happens very often. But when I do, like, I notice, like, sometimes, like, people are just, they'll build something up, but they don't take the time to really flesh it out, is what I'm trying to get at. And that's really one of the big things that we're trying to do here, to flesh it out as much as we can, but without spinning our tires. But we're going to get there. We still got a little bit of time left. Got about 4 minutes left in today's episode. We're going to add in some of the bay windows on the lower hull. Now I'm going to show you a cheat on what you can do here if you're not sure where your starting point is going to be. We're going to put a builder block, go straight across. So I always say, work smarter, not harder. Some people take that the wrong way. I'm not telling you to work to be lazy and to not work as hard. What I'm saying is, stop, think about what you're doing, and think about a better way to go about it. That's all I'm trying to get at here. And these builder blocks, they're your friend. Think of it like this. It's a ruler, essentially, and it's going to help you from making mistakes. And when you get your rules in place to stop you from making mistakes, you're slowly going to get there where I'm at now. Like, but with that being said, like, nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, I get called out all the time. Like, somebody will, like, comment my video and they're like, you made a mistake at this point, at the 15-minute mark on episode such and such, building this. And it's just like, yep, I sure did. I probably made a mistake right there. But then I just got to tell them, like, you know, just stick with me, because I've only got so much time in every episode to go over this stuff with you guys. Some of it I may not even correct right then and there, because all this stuff has already been pre-recorded, you know. But this is why I have the rules in place that we do, to try to stop ourselves from making these mistakes as much as we can. But ultimately, mistakes are still going to happen, but stick to your process. Check your work. If you make a mistake, it's all good. You may not even notice it, you know. But this is the other thing too. I try not to take myself too seriously on here with building. I notice, like, some people are like that a little bit. Like, they take this a little bit too serious, I think. And I think that they've defeated the purpose of why a lot of people like myself do this, and it's just to relax. You know what I mean? This is just a hobby for me at this point. I really enjoy doing it, and honestly, it helps me save money, because if I wasn't building ships in Minecraft, I'd probably be spending way more money on buying models of these ships and building them and painting them and going through all that jazz. But doing them on Minecraft, to me, it's so much better, because I can actually build them myself from hand, from scratch by hand, and save a little bit of money at the same time. And in this economy, I don't know about you guys, but gotta save every penny that we can these days. Things are just getting harder every year. Like, it's crazy. Like, because I'm in Florida, and just in the past year, or no, not in the past 6 years, my rent, um, because it goes up $200 every year. And when you factor in a period of 6 years, that's $1,200. It's nuts, you know. things are definitely not easy right now. So anybody out there that is having a little bit of trouble just getting through it, you know, doesn't mean much, but just want you to know that I'm out here pretty much doing the same thing, just chugging along, and I just try to focus to do the best job that I can do. And then when I'm off of work, just not stress out about it and relax. And that's why I play Minecraft and I play other building games. I'm telling you, this stuff can save your life. And I'm not understating that. Somebody's probably going to really make fun of that. But to me, like, it can be so true, because just having something like this to take your mind off things that are going on, like, it's so therapeutic and just so necessary. I can't tell you how many times I have just dived into Minecraft over, you know, just going through a bunch of personal stuff, and just I needed a release, you know. But anyway, enough about all that. I kind of just chattered on through that whole episode about a whole bunch of randomness, but I think that's going to do it for us today. We're going to stop it right there. We're doing our pinstripes for the red on the sides of the lower hull, and we'll pick back up in episode 51. But I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in today's episode. If you did enjoy this content, hey, help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button and helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Drop a comment below if you can too. I love hearing from everybody. Any suggestions that you have, criticism, whatever, let me know about it. You can also join the Discord. I'll have a link in the description below. Any ship builds you want to see, let me know in the comments. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for me today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode, and I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section and post your photos in Discord.